Welcome back to the channel, gang. In today's video, we'll look at some creepy and interesting TikTok that'll make you question everything. And if you're new to the channel, sub up and let's get it. Let me know who's headed to Trader Joe's after seeing this. Those guys are making it way too easy at this point to become farmers.
Ain't nobody ever been to space.
Really?
Nobody ever been outside of this firmament.
That is an interesting conversation I would love to have. Yeah. Why do you think that's so? So you think we faked the moon landing?
Yes.
So you think...
Let me tell you why.
Yeah.
They say there wasn't no air in space. On one of the moon landing clips, that damn flag was blowing.
Yeah, no, I've seen that.
And also, too, it's a video. I saw this shit on TikTok. It was crazy. The same pictures they had on the NASA website was found in the coordinates of a desert in California, but they said it was quote-unquote Mars. You can look it up.
Right, so what do you think's up there? If it's a firmament and we can't leave, what do you think's up there?
I think it's water. I think it's water up there. As below is above.
That's, you're basically referencing the Bible, right? Yes. So you believe there's a separation, like...
Yeah, because the Bible speaks a lot of code. A lot of fifth dimensional code. But yeah, as below is above. Tell me why when rockets, when they go up, they start to curve. They start to take the shape of if something was circular. Why do they curve? I was having an argument with my pops about it. He was like, because it's the GPS system, they go there. I'm like, no, bro.
So do you believe in extraterrestrial life? No,
yes.
That you do.
I do.
So where do they come from?
Under the water. And I also think Antarctica, a little bit behind Antarctica.
Interesting. Yeah. So I did a poll yesterday. 40% of my viewers think that they faked the space capsule landing.
It is.
40% think that. That's a lot. That's a huge.
I mean, it's obvious, bro. It's obvious, bro. They faked a lot of shit.
So what's the...
You saw the shit with JFK?
Yes.
So I said that shit years ago. I slowed the video down and played it and saw that the man shot JFK. I saw that.
So what do you think happened with JFK?
He probably knew too much, like a lot of people know too much. But the only difference is he was a threat. He was a real threat. He was president.
So what are we supposed to do with this information for the next 20, 30 years? You're a young man, you're starting out, you have a hot career. Like, what are we supposed to do? How are we supposed to exist in a lie if this is allegedly true?
I think it's about finding the people that are just as conscious of you and keeping them close enough so when shit hit the fan, they'll be the same ones that protect you.
They would want you to believe that Elon Musk was the first one to build the robots. We've been doing this hundreds, thousands of years before them. Now I'm seeing people scared saying robots and AI was taking over the world. If we was all to get water guns, the war would be over in one day. They would show you these movies like Terminator to try to scare you. We've been playing with robots since the beginning of time. These were our ancient toys in the past. We would build these things and make them fight against each other. We would also make them do our labor for us. We would also have these robots to guard caves or ancient tombs. They would keep our treasures a secret for us, and their brain would consist of artificial intelligence, meaning that this fake conscience would grow the more that they learn and experience in life. They are linked to the cosmic frequencies of the earth, and this is why when they built their super soldiers, the robots would not go against the chosen ones. It was against their programming. They knew who we was. They have memories of us decoded in their motherboards. Remember, they was our ancient toys.
I didn't realize that Tesla robot relatives existed back then.
Space travel is impossible. If you want to go to the moon, You must build the stairs, or you grow a tree, or have a rope from the earth to the moon, connected, so you can climb. You can go to the moon. Use a rocket, go to the moon. It's totally impossible. You see, every country spend a lot of money making weapons. There's no missiles, no rocket missiles can go around the world. How can NASA send a rocket, fire a rocket to orbit the Earth, then go to the moon, then come back? Rocket is just fireworks. All the rocket fuel run out, the gravity will track you back. It's impossible. It's impossible. Send a rocket around the Earth. It's a fact. All the countries competed to make long-range missiles. How long they can go? 10,000 miles top. If you go to the moon, why don't you fire rockets? Go straight to the moon. You want to orbit the Earth couple times, then you go to the moon with that fuel. And you have a fuel come back to Earth. Think about how stupid a lie they put up. Why people so confused? If I have questions, ask me. Have a good one.
We're in 2025 and I can't tell you what to believe, but if you think we can actually go to the moon by shooting a rocket, then you might want to do more research.
Legs tight, breath, pull back. Hold in, you're on top, breathe. Drop the shoulders, keep the chest relaxed, breathe. Press out with the abs, clench the glutes, breathe. Make sure you're getting enough air back in, breathe. Drop those shoulders, squeeze the abs and glutes, breathe. Max intensity out of that lower body, breathe. You're almost there, and terminate, terminate, terminate. Hold the strain, and relax.
Until this time, we've been unable to show this blood and its analysis, but God has this on his timetable and it will be done at the perfect time. Here, as God's last message is being given to the inhabitants of the earth, there are real angels, not just scratched pictures in stones, that are taking a very active part in doing this. When I found the Ark of the Covenant in that chamber, all of the furnishings had been covered by a layer of animal skins. On top of that, a layer of wooden boards, and on top of that, enough stones to fill the rest of the chamber up to near the roof. After I had been in there 3 times, the 4th time I came in, there were 4 young men standing in there that if I had met them on the street, I would have seen no difference between them and anybody else. One of them said, "We're the angels that have been assigned to the Ark of the Covenant, and we'll tell you what God wants to done with this, and we'll help you do what he wants done with it." They wanted me to take a sample of the blood and have it analyzed. All I had with me was a film cartridge and a pull tab from a Coca-Cola can. So I took this pull tab and straightened it out to make a little bit of a scoop with it. And I collected about 3/4 of that little canister full of this dried blood. We had this analyzed. We put an amount of this blood in some normal saline and at body temperature, and we swirled this gently for 72 hours. And this was part of the instructions I got from the angel. When we put this in a growth medium for another 72 hours and put it under a microscope, the white blood cells were dividing. We were able to get a chromosome count. There were 24 chromosomes. 23 Christ got from Mary. He got 1, which was the sex determinant, or the Y, from his heavenly Father, for a total of 24. All of us have 46. We get 23 from our mother and 23 from our father. Now, this blood, folks, was still alive after almost 2,000 years. The people that did the test thought I had pulled a fast one of some kind on them. Never in their lives have they ever seen any dried blood that was still alive. There's a scripture text talking about Christ. It's in Psalms. It says, "You will not leave my soul in hell, and neither will you let my body see corruption." So after almost 2,000 years, Christ's blood was very much alive and still is.
Not that I needed proof it existed, but the location of the Ark of the Covenant has officially been found. This is where the 2 tablets of the 10 Commandments are being kept, but something about this just feels off to me, and this is why. The CIA confirmed the location and existence of this through remote viewing. Now they're saying that this is being safeguarded by entities of unknown power, and this is a declassified CIA document. Now personally, when I hear remote viewing, I proceed with caution. If you don't know what this is people who claim to see and describe things without personally seeing it. They use extrasensory perception. It's basically psychics who can describe what's happening in another part of the world without physically seeing it. What's interesting about this is the CIA and military actually funded a top secret program called Project Stargate, gathering psychics to use remote viewing for military strategies, and some people in the past were weirdly accurate, but eventually the program got shut down. In my opinion, it's just hard to believe. But in 1988, the viewer was tasked with the Ark of the Covenant, and this is how he described it. The target is protected by entities and can only be opened by those who are authorized to do so. This container will and cannot be opened until the time is deemed correct. Once it is time to open the container, the mechanics of the lock system will be found to be fairly simple. They said this before adding a warning to potential plunderers. Individuals opening the container by prying or striking are destroyed by the container's protectors through the use of a power unknown to us. That's wild. They said the purpose of the target is to bring people together. It has something to do with ceremony, memory, homage, the resurrection. There's an aspect of spirituality, information, lessons, and historical knowledge far beyond what we know now.
The CIA, according to these reports, says the Ark was confirmed to exist through remote viewing, describing a gold-covered chest guarded by powerful beings in an underground Middle Eastern chamber.
I sense by the Spirit of the Lord, they're going to proclaim that they have found the Ark of the Covenant. I'm telling you right now, they will indeed make an announcement that they have found the Ark of the Covenant. And I believe this is going to greatly mess with some religious ideologies, theological things. I believe that they're going to find the Ark of the Covenant. It's a big thing to state. I feel this way the same way when I wrote on the whiteboard. Wow. They're going to either say they found the Ark of the Covenant, or you're going to see the Ark of the Covenant dramatically back in the news. There's going to come a special announcement about the Ark of the Covenant in the news. And this is a last days sign. It's going to be a talking point, and in a sense, what I feel about it is it's going to resolve an argument or a conflict, and the Lord's going to do it in a way to demonstrate something, saying, I am He that lives, who was and is to come. There's something about this that's prophetic, and it's a last days sign that I believe is coming, and it's about the Ark of the Covenant. And I'm telling you right now by the word of the Lord, the Ark is going to make the news again, and it has endurance. It has this word of the Lord on it, and I don't know why the Lord spoke to me through these absolute signs to our culture. But when Shackleton's ship was found, the endurance that was lost, I believe the Lord is saying, the ark will come back, it will take endurance, and your endurance will be discovered, and it will begin to be a return of things that were even founded in this nation 100 years ago. 100 years ago. There's a 100-year promise that's coming back, and I believe a sign to this will be that the ark will be talked about majorly in the news in the days to come, if not completely discovered. discovered. But watch for the sign of the Ark of the Covenant. The actual Ark of the Covenant is going to make more and more news and headlines, if not completely discovered, maybe in a secret area in the Temple Mount or somewhere in that area.
So the Ark of the Covenant is known to house the 10 Commandments, and it'd be kind of cool to see what else it has, but not if there are real angels guarding that thing.
30 million years ago, two black holes collided. These black holes caused a huge disruption in the very fabric of space-time. When they collided, they ended up creating an even greater ripple that got sent out at the speed of light. Einstein theorizes that such ripples in space-time are not only possible but real. Meanwhile, the wave continues its journey across the cosmos. Einstein foresees that we should eventually be able to detect such waves, though at the time, our technology is far from capable. It will take another 80 to 90 years to develop the tools necessary to catch this cosmic phenomenon. Eventually, we succeeded in building the device. This device is the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO. Just days after it's powered on, the laser waves spread from the Earth and we detect a signal that originated long before humanity even existed. Einstein did more than predict the existence of gravitational waves. He also formulated the general theory of relativity and provided the groundwork for the creation of the laser. And it's with these lasers that we're able to detect gravitational waves, a truly remarkable achievement.
I'm sure you guys heard the massive news that's just dropped out of Egypt, y'all. Researchers are claiming that they found let me show you how this. First of all, look at this massive structure. So that's the pyramid on the top, right? Okay, so they found these 8 gigantic cylinders spiraling down beneath the pyramid, all the way 648 meters down, and then these 2 massive cubes. I'm gonna show y'all the cubes. And here are the giant coils and cubes that the pyramids are sitting on. And they say these things are exponentially bigger than the pyramids themselves. And we know how big the pyramids are. Y'all see that? It looks like some type of some energetic chamber. Something that takes energy, you know what I'm saying? It's producing energy, it's creating energy, right? Jack in the Box. So they say they pick these things up on a thermal reader. So this is all there, y'all. They can't get away from this. You get what I'm saying? Now check this out, y'all. Let me prove to you how we are the ancient ones. This is the same technology that I make. Look at this, y'all. The Orgon creations. This is the same technology. Even the pyramids that sit on top of the cube-like structures. Y'all see that? I told you, we're the same beings. Now, the most amazing thing about this news is this came on the spring equinox, which is the end of the Kali Yuga, which is the dark ages. We are leaving the dark ages and entering the ages of light, the golden age. So now this is truth that's coming to the surface. We're about to find out things that we have, that has been hidden, y'all. I said this before, we about to find out who we really are. So all of this right over here, this proves this over here, y'all. I've been telling you guys this for quite some time. If y'all catch my drift, y'all know what I'm talking about. Let me know if y'all want a part 2 to this over here, because this is amazing times. But in the meantime, if you guys are looking for some ancient technology, the link is in the bio on my Etsy, y'all. I've been telling y'all the shift is here. It's here, y'all. Let's get it. Peace in.
We'll watch.
I think for a long time, we've all been having a hard time trying to figure out who built these pyramids and how they build them. But with those discoveries underground, it's making the equation a lot more complex.
Huge breaking news just in now. The European Union just called and urged its citizens
to have a 72-hour stockpile of food and resources amid the war risk with Russia. So this may be a coincidence or not, but this doesn't come long after Putin made a statement saying that the United Kingdom is the main instigator of war around the world, especially in Russia and Ukraine. And we've seen over the past couple years the strong stance from the NATO and the EU with Ukraine. And the European countries sending supplies, sending money, even sending troops, or at least contemplating sending troops on the front lines as well in Russia. And it just shows you that the United States and the EU and NATO are not on the same page right now. Because the United States and Trump exclaimed and want to work with Russia, and we're not going to add Ukraine to NATO or the EU. Yet the NATO countries besides us and the EU countries besides us, they want Ukraine and NATO for some reason. I don't understand it. Russia and Putin have made it very clear that's one of the main things that they can't allow happen, because if you think about it, Russia's surrounded by all these countries who are allies. And so if they add in Ukraine, that's right on their border. And so we can't do that. And just think about Russia's perspective. I know we all hate Russia, or a lot of you do, but you got to come from this perspective on this. They don't want to be surrounded and be at a vulnerable place. They're looking out for their citizens only. And that's what America is finally doing now. And so as tensions begin to rise and escalations start to happen, I really hope it doesn't get out of control. But the message like this and the media pushing this narrative is not a good sign. And
that 72-hour stockpile warning was not directed to Americans, but we might not want to sleep on this.
Do you remember these books from your childhood, the McGraw-Hill science textbooks? I mean, this company published all sorts of textbooks for elementary through high school kids, and I definitely remember reading some of these in my classes. But did you know that one of the companies that published these books was owned by Ghislaine Maxwell's father? If you don't know Ghislaine, she was Jeffrey Epstein's business partner, and she helped run his massive sex trafficking operation. She was the madam in the operation and would recruit girls into his terrible ring. But we're not really here to talk about her. We're here to talk about Robert Maxwell, her father. Now, Robert was an extremely wealthy British businessman. So in 1984, after Robert Maxwell had already acquired a lot of wealth, he purchased a publishing group. This group included publications in newspapers like the Daily Mirror, which is still in existence. I mean, there is a lot to uncover about Robert Maxwell. He was best friends with a lot of British royals. He rubbed elbows with celebrities, with the elite. And like I said before, he was extremely wealthy. He even had a massive private yacht that he nicknamed the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. Now, with all of these powerful connections, there has to be some sort of controversy, right? Well, for decades, it's been alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a spy. And people don't really know which intelligence agency he worked for the most, but he has ties to the Russian KGB, the British intelligence service MI6, and the Israeli intelligence service, the Mossad. People have alleged that Robert Maxwell was actually a triple or double agent, meaning that he might have been sharing information between 3 different Secret Service organizations. Obviously, this showed that he didn't really have anybody that he worked for in particular, he just chased the money and the power. It's very strange that his blood daughter Ghislaine would end up being directly involved with one of the biggest sex trafficking rings in world history. Now, you can read a lot about Robert Maxwell's supposed spying. One fact that I found interesting was that 6 former and current heads of Israeli intelligence attended his funeral, but his death was extremely suspicious. So in November of 1991, he went sailing on his private yacht, he disappeared, and just a few days later, his completely nude body was found washed up. According to people that examined Robert's body, there was a graze on his shoulder, but there were no other noticeable injuries. But something strange is that when experts took a look at his body, nobody could conclusively say exactly how he died. And the official statement said that he may have had a heart attack and then drowned as he was urinating nude on the side of his yacht. Years later, though, a lot of different things would come out about Robert, including the fact that he bugged a lot of devices and rooms that his own employees were in because he felt like they were being disloyal and he couldn't trust anybody. His own sons even came out and said that while they didn't know exactly what had happened to him, they knew that he didn't take his own life because he wouldn't do that, and he had talked about how he would never do that. So obviously, this is just unbelievably bizarre how this all ties into Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, that whole saga. And I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't talk about and the government really hasn't looked into. And back to the beginning, I can't ever really look at one of these books the same again.
The GOAT conspiracy is the Illuminati.
You believe in it or you don't?
I don't believe in none of that shit. Like, I don't think none of that shit. Especially the Illuminati shit is only us. Like, you know, how are we not benefiting from it?
Crazy.
If we're supposed to be running this whole thing, how the fuck I get stopped by the cops the other day? Can the Illuminati come tell him get off my ass?
You know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is?
What?
Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job.
I'm curious if that's the real Jamie saying this or clone Tyrone, because there's a difference.
I'm at the Denver airport with a new art installation in the center of the airport. We start off here with the world. At the South Pole there is a gate, and then around the world is sand. At the North Pole there's this pole that leads up to this arrow. The arrow points down to what it looks like perhaps a firmament, to a train station. I should also mention the world is depicted as flat over there. From the train station, from the arrow, we come down here. Perhaps a way to get in and out of the world as we know it. Again, surrounded by rocks and sand. Maybe this is where the lizard people live. It's weird.
If this architecture at the Denver airport is meant to depict that the earth is flat, then it's safe to say that they're in direct conflict with NASA.
Well, Ariana Grande really showed that she's on the dark side of things, y'all. Not just because she's showing us her backside and that she got all red on. It's always the red, y'all. They love showing red. So y'all remember during the Oscars, she had 2 dresses on. One of them was this. I didn't notice before, but I noticed now. Look what's on her back, y'all. Do y'all see that shit? It's a red heel. So a lot of people looking at me like, what the hell are you talking about? Hold up. They say the devil's in the details, but the truth is hidden in plain sight, which is that shoe. If y'all haven't heard about the Red Shoe Club, go look it up. You will be amazed. So we all know that the red symbolizes what we bleed. The shoe wasn't worn by accident. And the fact that it's red too, that's just showing the ritual mark. So I need y'all thoughts down below. Did y'all catch this at the Oscars? And do y'all think I'm explaining it right? Or is it just fashion?
I did like in one place, then they move to other place, then they move to other place. There's just...
Okay, so I go into the church now.
Yes, and they hide, usually they hide it in their houses. Because they have parties in their houses. They it's the same, looks this, like I said, the wardrobe, that kind of stuff. That's the same. So they've got this stairs downstairs. Yes.
Okay,
because,
so if I went to your dad's house, get to your dad's house, what
Yes.
colour's door's his?
Yeah, his one is kind of lightish brown.
So it's got a lightish brown door.
Yes.
So go in there.
Yes.
Where's this wardrobe?
In the living room, as I said, a bit like Mr. Hollings'.
So go to the living room, and what does this wardrobe look like?
It's not like Mr. Hollings's, but similar. It's long. It's long.
Okay, so go to the wardrobe.
Yes.
And how do I get through the secret door? How do I get into the secret door?
Yeah, they got keys. They got keys to the door because Mr. Morris, my father, Papa.
How could I tell there's a door there? So I go to the wardrobe.
Yes.
How would I know that it's not just the back of a wardrobe and it's a door? How could I tell? What's different about it?
There's no difference. There's no difference.
Where'd you put the key then? I don't know.
No. There's no key to go in a wardrobe.
Yeah.
There's no key.
Right, sorry.
But when you go down the stairs into the secret room, underground, they got the room in there. They got the keys to it.
Okay.
Mr. Morris, Papa, Mrs. Forsyth, Mr. Hollings, they got like big bunches of keys. Big.
Right.
Those,
So I
yes.
get all the clothes out of the way.
Yes.
Then what do I find?
And then after you find it looks like just like a normal wardrobe
Yeah.
wall because it's camouflaged and it makes sure you can't see it.
Yes. So
But
how do
actually
I
there
find
is
the door?
Because it's just right in the middle. So this is the wardrobe.
Would I be able to see
So
like
this-
the gap or not?
No, it's like camouflage. So like, imagine this was like red, and then imagine this was like this is the same color.
Would I be able to move the wardrobe out of the way? and find a hole in the wall, would I, or not?
No. That's
Why
no.
not?
No, because you have to. The door is attached to the wall,
Right.
and it got stairs going down.
So if I moved the wardrobe,
Yes.
would I see the door?
Yes,
Okay.
but then if
One of the first original public clones was Michael Jackson.
What?
Yes. So if you take a look at Michael Jackson, right? Oh, he had plastic surgery. This is why they're making plastic surgery really popular, quote unquote, because they can basically deduce, oh, the celebrity had plastic surgery. It's not a clone, it's plastic surgery. That's why they look different, right? So Michael Jackson was their first sort of test run for cloning. And specifically the reason why they replaced him with a clone was because he was saying too much.
He was, right?
He was against the system. He was talking, out of bounds, quote unquote, because they couldn't control him anymore. And he wanted to wake people up. So they kicked him off. They replaced him with a clone. And that's why his skin got whiter. That's why his face got more gaunt.
Kobe Bryant, when his helicopter crashed, he was actually in the middle of a lawsuit. He was about to start to testify against the supplement brand he had partnered with because they had found traces of methamphetamines inside the pre-workout. He died. But maybe the 20-year pilot just lost experience that one day, just made no sense.
Even to this day, Kobe helicopter crash just doesn't sit well with me.
You hear a really crazy conspiracy theory that nuclear bombs were not made for humans, but they were made for
aliens.
I don't think so.
Well, what about Project Fishbowl? It was basically to test nuclear detonations in the atmosphere and underwater. They let off 29 atmospheric nuclear tests.
Oh my gosh.
In 1962. So shortly after the Roswell incident, they truly wanted to see what a nuclear bomb would do interacting with the atmosphere. And it's like, why?
So you're telling me we can't use hairspray, but they can shoot bombs off?
The tests involved detonating nuclear devices at altitudes ranging from 20 to 250 miles above Earth's surface. But then they did 2 underwater as well. There's classified documents too, CIA documents, and all these stories about all these nuclear tests. There seems to always be something with UFOs around them, like an interaction with UFOs. And then those stories about the UFOs coming and disarming nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
But then there's some scenarios to where they actually arm them. So we got UFO sightings from the sky, the ocean, and that's what their targets were. So that's where the theory that nukes weren't made for people, but they were made to combat this UFO, UAP phenomenon.
Well, it's not a bad idea to create a weapon against all that spooky stuff, but that doesn't make sense to me.
You think about all the UFOs and UAPs around nuclear facilities too.
Yeah, but I just think that's because they're nosy.
I don't think humans are at a point where we understand the true strength and capability of extraterrestrials, so I guess it makes sense if nuclear devices were made to combat them. Not sure if this is real because I've seen the entire interview and I don't recall ever seeing this, but that tongue swipe made me think he got some reptilian in him. Alright, that's it for the episode. Thanks for coming through, and if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to like this video and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.